Hello and thank you for joining us on the last edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, INEC rejects petition to recall Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, declares that process did not meet constitutional requirements. Former NYSC Director General, retired Brigadier General Maharazu Siga, released after 56 days in bandits' den, narrates frightening experience. Late on the show, in our Journalist Hangout Weekend Special, Babajide Kolade Otitoju explores Federal University Oye Ekiti's rapid agriculture revolution. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Paul Dada. Journalist Hangout starts right now. A recall process allows voters to remove an elected official before the end of their tenure, but only if the required conditions are met. As such, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has rejected the petition to recall Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, ruling that it failed to meet constitutional requirements. In a post on its official X handle, INEC insisted that the petition did not meet provisions of the 1999 Constitution as expressly stated in Section 69, Article A. Meanwhile, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan has applauded INEC for rejecting the petition aimed at recalling her from the Senate. She described INEC's decision as an act of justice and a show of true independence. All right, BKO, tell us, why did INEC abandon, or should I say reject, the recall petition? Could there be some sort of political influence here?
No. There is a bit of mathematics about the recall process.
Mathematics?
Yes.
Okay.
And INEC was just behaving and acting in conformity to or with the law. It's a thing of joy to hear opposition elements praise INEC for the step that it has taken. But usually when an electoral outcome goes against them, they will condemn INEC. But on this Natasha affair, a lot of them are happy with INEC. A lot of them who are even misogynists.
Oh, really?
Who will not even want a woman to emerge in any election. Today they see Natasha as a hero. But start from your own closet. Begin to give women a chance in your own. For example, a lot of my friends from the Northwest, today they are hailing Natasha. But how many of them have allowed women to even win a single elective positions at national level? So, going back to, I don't want to bother myself too much about that, because I know a lot of us are very hypocritical. On this matter, INEC expects the petitioners to bring signatures representing 50.1% of the registered voters. So they brought 208,132 out of 474,554. which represents 43.86%. And INEC is asking for or looking for 50.1. And once it's above 50%, you have crossed the Rubicon. And that's why I said there was a mathematical error there. And it shows clearly that they didn't do enough due diligence. Because somebody should be crunching the numbers. Somebody should be interfacing with INEC to know exactly what is required. Because you don't start this process and suddenly discover that you've been wasting your time. That You do not have the numbers. One thing is certain, the crafters of our law have made it almost impossible, almost mathematically impossible to have an elected official recalled. And Natasha won't be the first person to have survived a recall. They usually don't even get to the last phase because of the obstacle is real.
Bottlenecks and everything.
Yes, the obstacle is real. During the Obasanjo regime, an attempt was made by a constituent of a popular senator from Plateau State, who even later became deputy Senate president. The people felt that he was supporting Obasanjo against his own people, and they tried to have him recalled. Of course, they failed. Gino Melaye too, during the Abelo's time, they wanted to recall him. But his people, they may not be very happy with him at that time, but they frustrated the attempt to have him recalled. This is what we have seen with Natasha. The law does not say that having failed at this stage that they cannot continue.
Okay, so it can be repeated again and again and again.
If Natasha thinks they will stop at this stage, then she doesn't know them. Because there's no law that says they cannot go back to continue a process that at this stage you could say that, okay, they have failed. The law does not say they can't go back to the field to get more signatories or represent the petition. So, in fact, you hear that they say, we won't agree, we'll do it again.
But BK, is this an opportunity to amend the Constitution to simplify the process?
Why? No, why should you simplify the process? Why should you simplify the process? I don't think, see, even in an election to get 50% of registered voters to come out and vote is extremely difficult. Most elections, you don't get that number. Where you get much higher than that, much higher than half of the registered voters, you need to check very well. It may have been a product of rigging. All over the world, people usually don't come out en masse to vote. You see, most times, maybe a little lower than half of the registered voters will come out.
Apathy.
They will cite all kinds of problems. Maybe it was a rainy day, you know, all of those things. Now, so that it doesn't become a frivolous thing, I believe it's right to make the stipulation as tough as it is now. So we've not had the last. We've not had the last. This is what I would say. Natasha should know. And she's been dealing with her traducers for some time. She's been in conflict with them for some time. There was a time that they wanted to stop her from even getting to the States. She had to travel, she had to enter the constituency through Nasarawa State. So I wasn't shocked when she brought an helicopter. In fact, it was the easy thing to do. All right. You know? So for me, it wasn't a shock to me. She knew that that would happen. Because she's faced such obstacles in the past. So she knew that, that was what, and she was saying that, I'm not a rich woman. This, but you are married to a billionaire. So what is it? All
right, Paul, your thoughts on this one?
Well, for me, I think INEC has proved that it can really be independent. You know, it has proved it has lived up to the word independence in its name. Then let me also take it from what BK said about the opposition praising INEC. I think the opposition should just have some trust. People should have some trust in our institutions. You know, because some people seem to think that justice is what favors them. You know,
and if it doesn't
favor them, it's not justice. But when it favors them, I'm sure INEC has been, INEC has been vilified a lot. You know, some people, even if INEC organizes an election which is above average, and it doesn't go in the way of their candidate, they will say it's a shambolic election. It is this, it is that, it is this, it is that.
It's the worst election.
The worst election ever.
People who are not 20-year-olds. describing some election as the worst in Nigeria history. How many elections have you
witnessed? How many have you witnessed?
So the truth of the matter is that it is possible for institutions, public institutions, to actually be independent, to be free, to a large extent be free of political manipulation. There is no doubt some people want Natasha out, but they can't get the signatures. They can't get the required number of people. Maybe they will go back now and start to persuade more people. It also shows that Natasha is popular in her constituency, whether you like it or not. You know, she's popular in her senatorial district. So that's it. You may not like certain things about her, but the truth is that she is popular. I also remember that she won an award as the best performing senator. You know, she was given one award like that.
I mean, so, if you won an award as best performing senator, yet she says they don't allow her to talk. And the record shows that she has actually been far more active, you know, that's than the other women and many senators in that.
You know, it's just trying to whip up sentiment. Sentiment and all of that.
I saw a record because they have, every time that a senator talks, there's a record.
Okay.
So they showed me all of the times that she's moved motions, that she's done, and you said they are not allowing you to talk.
Personally, my own advice for people that want to get her off is just let her be. She's already serving a suspension, which you already think is harsh.
You know what? Let me tell you something. Okay. You cannot legally recall somebody who is on suspension.
That's also another angle to it.
Let lawyers look at that.
You can't legally
because she's on suspension. Okay. She's not a senator as we speak. She's not a senator as we speak. She's been told you cannot represent the Senate anywhere. She's on suspension. You can't legally recall somebody who is on suspension because at this time she's not in that Senate. Yes, she's going everywhere, calling herself. At this point, she's not. At least
she's not allowed to represent her constituency.
Yes, she's not. A constituency that she's not currently representing. Exactly. How do you recall her?
From doing what? Recall her from doing what? So I understand your argument.
You understand? From doing what? You see, because I sat down and I thought about that. I said, what is going on? Even if you succeed in that process, there could be a legal battle arising from the fact that at the time when this process
she was under suspension.
Yes.
We
should always look at all of these issues before we take an action. Because actions that we take have consequences. Sure. You can't recall somebody who is not a senator as we speak. He's not a senator. Legally speaking, she's on suspension for 6 months. I think I sit down 1 month now.
Yeah, it's about 1 month.
It's about a month now. You know, you can't. If you get past this process, a court action could come to argue that, okay, at the time when you even recalled me, I was not legally a senator, and I wasn't representing
and that can render it null and void.
Yes, that is what they need to look at, and I'm sure lawyers are listening to me, and lawyers who also ask them. So you can't place something on nothing.
Exactly.
When she's not currently representing her constituency, where are you recalling her from?
All right, gentlemen. All right, gentlemen. Let's move straight to our next conversation. Surviving captivity is a harrowing ordeal.